I like to curl my lashes before I do any glitters and before I do my liner and obviously mascara. Tomato, tomato. But for me, I feel like, if you use your glitters, then every time you go to clean or to curl your eyelashes the next time, if you don't have a glitter look, you're going to end up with a glitter look. And sometimes I curl my eyelashes if I have no eye makeup on, so that just keeps me from getting glitter on an otherwise naked eyelid. All right. And I'm going to dip my finger into, I think these two kind of buttery green and like a little bit of a taupe. I've kind of been playing, when I take this green over the beige, it gives it almost like a funky bronze effect, which I was not expecting. And why not? Life is short. I'm going to mix a little of the cooler taupe just on the outer rim. All right, that's about where I want it. Wash off my fingers. I'm always so curious how these MUAs that aren't out of sync are doing their makeup. And I'm like, gosh, they must just be using a lot of makeup wipes to keep washing their hands off. And I don't know. I just try to go as green as I can within reason. So now for my liner. Whoopsie. I'm actually going to go in with... This is just a cheapy Infallible Grip liner with a marker. And what I do, because I am horrible at winged liner, is I kind of just use it as a guide. Since I'm 52, I kind of draw them up a little higher. Gives the eye a brighter look. And I'm going to just lay a little down. And then... going in with the other eye. I like the sharp line of the liquid liner, but I really have been enjoying, where did I put the lid? There it is. The Wonder Skin eyeliners and lip liners. They're somewhat, they're long wear. I don't want to say they're completely indestructible, but what I do, because this green is just a little lighter and I want to have the darker color, I'll just kind of go over with, this is like more, they've got two greens, an evergreen and an olive green, and honestly, I like them both. You've got a little bit of play time with them until they dry. And then I take a little brush. I've been playing with different brushes and kind of brush it out. I lose a little bit of the harsh line, but it's still, for the most part, there. And we'll call that a day. If you've watched any of my tutorials, I just don't always take a lot of time. And I feel like life is just moving faster and faster lately. Does anybody else feel that way? It's like, sweet mother of God. What I also like about these Wonder Skin liners is they are safe for the waterline. And I just go in and kind of do a little underneath. It just fills it out a little bit more. I have very dry eyes now that I've gone through menopause. And so I find that I'm really particular about what I do put on my eyes, that it is kind of, somewhat approved by ophthalmologists, obviously. And smooth that out with a slightly different brush. And actually, I don't know why I put that away. I'm going to put a little bit on the bottom, and I'm kind of sloppy with it because it will clean it up in the end. And from here, and then I even have like a, where is my actual smudger? I like the smudger for under the eye, but sometimes it takes off a little too much when I'm putting it under the actual eye. or on top of the lid rather. All right, and I think today I'm going to go ahead and do my mascara now. So, but I'm going to add a little bit of this NYX Jumbo, kind of a white to the center, just to add a pop. If you're older, you have hooded eyes, it's really helpful to open up the inner corners of the eyes. And I've talked about this before. These are just off of Amazon. This is called Divine, and it is the short shader brush 3, but it's just perfect for kind of getting in and around the eye socket, or just for highlight in general. And now let's go in with mascara. This is the Tartelette XL fiber tubing mascara. I'm sure it has fiber in it too. And I start with my bottom lashes first, making all the weird faces. And as you can see, there's going to be a lot of mess underneath for me to really coat my lashes, because fortunately they are longer, and then I have, you know, more flaccid skin underneath my eye because I am filter free and filler free. I just go in the bottoms first, and then I'll clean them up and go in and do a really nice lay down of my under eye concealer. I find I just take more time, I waste more time, and I waste more product if I try to do this after I've done my foundation, concealer, blah, blah, blah. And I usually just dip in once for both eyelashes. And it's interesting because I was watching the Lipstick Lesbians when they first kind of came on the scene, and they were talking about, you know, bulk, and when we pull out the mascara wand, that's actually supposed to be for both eyes. Is typically how they kind of create these things. So I thought that's interesting. So I thought, well, what would happen if I just used one scoop out? And I usually go over my left eye twice because it's a side that I sleep on and it gets kind of weird and smushy and curly. And then from here, I try to preset some of my things for these videos, but you know, it's impossible. I'm going in with my Anastasia, and I like this. Would I buy it again? Maybe not. There are so many ridiculous eye products that are great for brows on the market, but I do like it. And I had the Nano Brow. I really love that from Kosas. And when I ran out, I thought, well, I'll try this. What's nice about it is you can just take your time and do delicate hairs, or just slap it on like I'm doing, but it's got a smaller blade. But so many products, I find when one manufacturer comes out with it, all of a sudden now everybody else is on the bandwagon, which is actually great when we have good innovation like this, because, you know, people have been using kind of outdated brow products for so long. And then I sometimes like to take my brush to soften it up if I've gotten any harsh lines. And then I go in, this is the Revitalash in Soft Brown. It is the Revitalash High Definition Brow Gel. I also like the Thrive Gel, but this one is just a little bit better suited for my coloration. I feel that you get more microfibers. They state it helps you grow your eyebrows, that there's something in the formula, and that the gentleman that created it, I guess his wife had cancer, so it's ophthalmologist tested. And again, I'm kind of nerdy that way. And I do dip in this once for each eye. Otherwise, I find I end up with one really heavy and one really light, and I don't notice it till I'm in the car driving somewhere, and then it's like, well, what can you do? And again, I kind of put it on sloppily. And it also has, you know, 2 brushes if you need to use them for anything. And then I go in and just clean up, kind of up and around there. I used to do this last after my foundation, but with the foundation sprays and the lock-in sprays, they're so powerful now that it shows a streak where you wiped it off. So I learned that maybe that's not the best thing to do. Here's an easy cleanup if you kind of wait to wipe it when it's dry. Took off a little of my eyeliner, so let's dab a hair more on just to define that. And I kind of made that a little too wide, but technically none of our eyes lids or sides of our face are really that symmetrical anyway, so it is what it is. All right, now today we're going in full frontal. I have prepped my face with the Bloom products. I've used my 3 Bloom peptides. If you haven't tried that yet and you want to have the healthiest, most firm skin in a natural way, it is a wonderful investment for yourself. The Hydrating Rain is wonderful to use even when you're not wearing makeup, but I put a little dollop of that everywhere. I put my Bloom Ultra Rich Moisturizer on and my Ultra Firm Eye Peptide over my eyes. It's the big guns to give us the best hydration. And if you use code Erica, you get a discount and free shipping. Now this is the Natasha Denona foundation, and I have the Natasha Denona concealer. So with the concealer, I'm going to just do a little dot in the middle, a little dot going up, and just where I have the hollows to try to bring them out. And this was a pricier foundation, but this will be actually my second time using it. And I totally